Get ready for a heart-pounding journey in the vibrant streets of Austin, Texas. Meet Olivia Warrick, a small-town girl fighting against all odds to save her sick sister. Thrust into the glittering world of a high-stakes convention center, Olivia faces brutal humiliation from a ruthless rival who will stop at nothing to tear her down. But when a mysterious millionaire CEO steps in, everything changes. Will Olivia rise above the pain, or will her dreams crumble? Packed with drama, romance, and a twist that'll leave you speechless, this story will keep you glued to the screen. Hit play and dive in. You won't believe what happens next. The morning sun spilled over Austin, Texas, painting the skyline in hues of gold and pink. The city buzzed with its eclectic charm. Food trucks lined the streets. Live music drifted from bars on 6th Street, and the scent of breakfast tacos mingled with the crisp October air. Olivia Warrick, a 23-year-old with wide hazel eyes and a worn denim jacket, stepped off a Greyhound bus at the South Austin station, her single duffel bag slung over her shoulder. Her boots crunched on the gravel as she took in the towering buildings, a far cry from the endless fields of her hometown, Willow Creek, a dusty speck 2 hours away. She clutched a crumpled letter from Austin General Hospital, detailing her younger sister Sophia Kessler's latest medical bills for a rare autoimmune disease that drained their savings. Olivia's heart tightened. She had come to Austin to save Sophia, no matter the cost. The Centro de Convention Langley, a sleek glass and steel structure, loomed over downtown Austin, its reflective facade catching the morning light. Olivia adjusted her braid, smoothed her thrift store blouse, and walked through the revolving doors, her palms sweaty. The lobby was a whirlwind of activity. Staff in crisp uniforms darted around, phones buzzed, and a massive digital screen displayed upcoming events, a tech conference, a music festival showcase, a charity gala. Olivia felt small, like a sparrow in a storm, but she squared her shoulders. She had landed a job as a receptionist here, a chance to earn enough for Sophia's surgery. The pay was modest, but it was a start. At the front desk, a woman with a BI, tight bun, and a name tag reading Marissa glanced up from her computer. "You must be Olivia Warrick," she said, her voice clipped but not unkind. "New hire, right? Let's get you set up." "Thanks," Olivia replied, her voice soft with a faint rural twang. "I'm ready to learn." Marissa handed her a badge and a tablet with the center's schedule. "You'll handle check-ins, direct guests, and assist with event setups. It's fast-paced, so keep up, and maybe invest in a better blouse next time." Her eyes flicked over Olivia's outfit, a subtle jab that stung. Olivia forced a smile. "Will do, just point me where to start." Marissa led her to a bustling break room where staff sipped coffee and swapped stories. The air smelled of burnt espresso and cleaning solution. A group of employees, all in their mid-20s, lounged at a table, their uniforms pristine. Among them was Rachel Holt, a striking woman with sharp cheekbones and a designer scarf, her laughter cutting through the chatter. She eyed Olivia as Marissa introduced her. "Everyone, this is Olivia, our new receptionist," Marissa announced. "She's from... where was it?" "Willow Creek," Olivia said, meeting Rachel's gaze. Rachel smirked, leaning back. "Willow Creek? Never heard of it. What, do they have electricity out there?" The group chuckled, and Olivia's cheeks burned. "We manage," she said, keeping her tone even. "It's quiet, but it's home." "Quiet's one way to put it," Rachel quipped, her eyes glinting. "Hope you can handle Austin. This place doesn't slow down for country girls." "Rachel, ease up," said a lanky guy named Carlos, tossing a friendly grin at Olivia. "She'll do fine, right, newbie?" "I'll keep up," Olivia said, her jaw tight. She wasn't here to make friends. She was here for Sophia. Her first task was to check in attendees for a tech startup pitch event. The conference room was a sea of suits and laptops with banners touting Austin Innovate 2025. Olivia stood at the entrance, scanning badges and handing out programs, her fingers trembling slightly. A middle-aged man in a tailored blazer snapped his fingers at her. "Hey girl, where's the coffee station? I don't have all day." "Down the hall, sir, to your left," Olivia said, her voice steady despite the rudeness. She caught Rachel watching from across the room, whispering to another colleague, their laughter sharp like glass. By noon, Olivia's feet ached in her. Worn flats, but she pushed through, organizing name tags for the next session. She overheard Rachel at the desk, her voice dripping with mockery. "Did you see her shoes? I bet she bought them at a gas station." Who hired her anyway? Carlos. Stacking chairs nearby, shot Rachel a look. "Give her a break, Rach. Not everyone's got your trust fund." "Whatever," Rachel said, flipping her hair. "She's out of her league. Watch her crash and burn by the end of the week." Olivia bit her lip, focusing on her tablet. She wouldn't let Rachel get to her. Back in Willow Creek, she'd faced worse. Neighbors who gossiped about her family's struggles after their parents died. Teachers who assumed she'd never leave town. She'd promised Sophia a better life, and Austin was her chance to deliver. At the end of her shift, Olivia took a bus to the small apartment she shared with Sophia in East Austin, a gritty neighborhood where murals splashed color on weathered walls. The apartment was cramped with peeling paint and a leaky faucet, but it was theirs. Sophia, 16 and frail, sat on the couch, her dark hair tucked into a beanie, her eyes bright despite the oxygen tube in her nose. "How was it?" Sophia asked, her voice weak but hopeful. "Busy," Olivia said, dropping her bag and forcing a smile. "Big fancy place, I'll get the hang of it." Sophia frowned, studying her sister. "You look tired already. Liv, you don't have to kill yourself for me." "Don't start, Soph," Olivia said, kneeling beside her. "You're getting that surgery. I've got this." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "I just hate seeing you like this. You deserve better than scrubbing floors or whatever they've got you doing." "I'm a receptionist, not a janitor," Olivia said, squeezing her hand. "And I'm good at it. You'll see." That night, Olivia lay on a thin mattress, staring at the ceiling as traffic hummed outside. Her phone buzzed with a notification, a hospital bill for $12,000, the latest in a string of debts. She closed her eyes, picturing Sophia healthy, running through the fields back home. She'd face Rachel's taunts, the rude guests, the long hours, whatever it took, but doubt crept in. Could she really survive in Austin's cutthroat world? The next day, Olivia returned to the center, determined to prove herself. She was assigned to help set up for a music festival showcase, a high-profile event tied to Austin's famous South by Southwest legacy. The main hall was transformed with stage lights and banners, the air electric with anticipation. Olivia coordinated with vendors, her clipboard a lifeline as she directed caterers and checked sound equipment. Her efficiency caught the eye of Marissa, who nodded approvingly. "Not bad for day 2, Marissa said. "Keep this up and you might stick around." "Thanks," Olivia said, a spark of pride flaring. But as she carried a stack of programs, Rachel bumped into her, sending them scattering across the floor. "Oops," Rachel said, her smile venomous. "Better clean that up, Willow Creek." Olivia knelt, gathering the papers, her face hot with anger. She wouldn't cry. Not here. As she stood, a man's voice cut through the noise. "Need a hand?" She looked up to see a tall figure in a charcoal suit, his dark hair slightly tousled, his blue eyes sharp yet kind. He knelt beside her, picking up a program. "First weeks are rough," he said. "You'll find your footing." "Thanks," Olivia mumbled, unsure who he was. His badge was tucked in his pocket, but his presence commanded attention. "Keep up the good work," he said, handing her the last program before walking away. Rachel watched, her eyes narrowing. "Who was that?" Olivia asked Carlos, who was adjusting a microphone nearby. Carlos grinned. "That's Jacob Langley, the boss, owns this whole place." Olivia's heart skipped. The CEO? She shook it off, focusing on the task. She couldn't afford distractions, not with Sophia's life on the line. But as she worked through the day, Rachel's whispers followed her, and the weight of Austin's glittering world pressed harder. She was a long way from Willow Creek, and the road ahead felt steeper than ever. The Austin skyline shimmered under the late afternoon sun, its glass towers reflecting the vibrant energy of a city that never slept. Inside the Langley Convention Center, The hum of activity was relentless. Staff rushed to prepare for the evening's tech startup pitch event, a high-stakes affair drawing investors from across Texas. Olivia Warrick stood at the reception desk, her fingers flying across the tablet as she checked in a stream of sharply dressed attendees. Her thrift store blouse felt out of place among the tailored suits, and the weight of Rachel Holt's taunts from the previous day lingered like a bruise. But Olivia's focus was razor-sharp. She was here for Sophia, her 16-year-old sister, whose hospital bills loomed larger with every passing. The lobby buzzed with the clink of wine glasses and the murmur of deal-making. Olivia's eyes darted to the digital schedule. The keynote was minutes away, and she'd been tasked with ensuring the VIP section was flawless. She adjusted a stack of programs, her hands steady despite the ache in her feet from hours of standing. Rachel, in a sleek black dress, sauntered by with a group of colleagues, her voice cutting through the noise. "Careful, Willow Creek," she said, smirking. "Don't trip over your own feet and embarrass us in front of the big shots." Olivia forced a tight smile, refusing to take the bait. "Got it under control, Rachel," she said, her rural twang betraying a hint of defiance. Rachel rolled her eyes and moved on, but her words stung. Olivia wasn't just fighting for Sophia, she was fighting to prove she belonged in this glittering world. As the keynote began, a crisis erupted. The projector in the main hall flickered, cutting off the startup founder mid-pitch. The room filled with murmurs of frustration, and Marissa, the head receptionist, shot Olivia a panicked look. "Fix this now," she hissed. Olivia sprinted to the tech booth, her heart pounding. She'd never operated the system before, but she'd watched the tech crew during setup. Kneeling beside the equipment, she traced wires, rebooted the system, and switched to a backup projector. Within minutes, the presentation resumed, earning a nod from Marissa and a ripple of applause from the crowd. From the back of the room, Jacob Langley watched, his sharp blue eyes narrowing. The 30-year-old CEO of Langley Enterprises stood out, even in a sea of suits, his charcoal blazer tailored to perfection, his presence commanding yet understated. He'd been in and out of the center all day, dodging calls from his father, Victor Langley, a domineering magnate who ruled the family empire with an iron fist. Victor had been relentless lately, insisting Jacob marry to project stability and secure a merger with a rival firm. Jacob clenched his jaw, the pressure mounting. He wasn't ready for marriage, not now, not ever. But Victor's threats to cut him out of the company were real. Jacob's gaze lingered on Olivia as she returned to the reception desk, her face flushed with effort but composed. He'd noticed her yesterday, picking up scattered programs with quiet resilience. Now, seeing her handle the crisis with no hesitation, he felt a spark of curiosity. Who was this woman? So out of place yet so capable. After the event, Jacob approached the desk, his polished shoes clicking on the marble floor. "Nice save back there," he said, his voice low but warm. "You're new, right? Olivia?" Olivia looked up, startled. "Yes, sir. Olivia Warrick. Just doing my job." "Most people would have frozen," Jacob said, leaning against the desk. "You didn't. Where'd you learn to troubleshoot like that?" "Back home," Olivia said, hesitating. "Willow Creek fixed plenty of broken things on our farm. Guess it stuck." Jacob's lips twitched, almost a smile. "Willow Creek sounds peaceful." "It was," Olivia said, her voice softening. "Till it wasn't." She didn't elaborate, and Jacob didn't push. But her guarded expression told him there was a story there, one he wanted to know. Before he could say more, his phone buzzed. Victor's name flashed on the screen, and Jacob's face darkened. "Excuse me," he said, stepping away. Olivia watched him go, her curiosity piqued. Why was the CEO talking to her? She shook it off, focusing on the next task. That evening, Olivia took the bus back to her East Austin apartment, the city's neon lights blurring past. Sophia was curled up on the couch, her oxygen tank humming softly. "How's the fancy job?" Sophia asked, her voice weak but teasing. "Fancy's one word for it," Olivia said, dropping her bag. She pulled out a takeout container of barbecue from a food truck, the smoky scent filling the room. Got us some ribs. Eat up, Soph. Sophia grinned but didn't move. You're dodging. Spill. Anyone giving you trouble? Just city folks. Being city folks, Olivia said, avoiding her sister's gaze. She didn't want Sophia worrying about Rachel or the snide comments. Instead, she handed her a plate and sat beside her. The weight of the hospital bill, $15,000 now, burning in her mind. Meanwhile, at a penthouse overlooking Lady Bird Lake, Jacob poured himself a whiskey, the city's skyline glittering below. Victor's voice boomed through the phone. You're 30, Jacob. No wife, no kids. How do you expect investors to trust you? Marry or I'll hand the company to your cousin. Jacob's grip tightened on the glass. I'm running the company. Fine, Dad. I don't need a ring to prove it. Fine's not enough, Victor snapped. The merger with Horizon Group depends on our image. You've got 1 month or you're out. The call ended, leaving Jacob staring at the city below. He needed a solution, fast. The next day, the center was abuzz with preparations for a music festival showcase. Olivia was tasked with coordinating vendors, her clipboard a shield against Rachel's glares. During a break, Rachel cornered her. In the break room, her designer heels clicking. You're quite the hero fixing projectors, she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Trying to impress someone? Maybe the boss? I'm just doing my job, Olivia said, her voice steady. You should try it sometime. Rachel's eyes flashed. Watch yourself, country girl. You don't belong here and everyone knows. Before Olivia could respond, Jacob appeared in the doorway, his presence silencing the room. Everything okay here? He asked, his gaze flicking between them. Fine, Mr. Langley, Rachel said, her smile syrupy. Just welcoming the new girl. Jacob's eyes lingered on Olivia. Walk with me, he said, gesturing toward the hall. Olivia followed, her heart racing. Had she done something wrong? In a quiet corner of the lobby, Jacob stopped, his expression unreadable. You're good at this, he said. The event yesterday, the vendors today, you've got a knack for keeping things together. Thanks, Olivia said, wary. Is that all? No, Jacob said, lowering his voice. I have a proposition. I need a wife, not for real, just for show. My father's on my back and I need to buy time. You'd get enough money to cover whatever you're carrying. He nodded toward her, as if sensing her burden. What do you say? Olivia's breath. Hot. You don't even know me, she said. Why me? Because you're real, Jacob said. And I think you need this as much as I do. Olivia's mind raced. Sophia's surgery cost a fortune, and her savings were nearly gone. But marrying a stranger? Even a fake marriage felt like a betrayal of herself. Yet the image of Sophia, pale and fragile, flashed in her mind. How much? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. Enough to change your life, Jacob said. Say $50,000 up front, more later. No strings, just a contract. You keep it secret, play the part, and we both walk away happy. Olivia's hands clenched. I need to think about it, she said, her voice shaking. Fair, Jacob said, handing her his card. Tomorrow, my office, 9 a.m. That night, Olivia sat by Sophia's side, the hospital bill glaring from her phone. Sophia was asleep, her breathing steady, and Olivia's resolve hardened. She couldn't let her sister down, no matter the cost. I'll do it, she whispered. To herself, the weight of the decision crushing her. Tomorrow, she'd face Jacob Langley and seal her fate. The Austin morning was thick with humidity, the air heavy with the promise of a scorching Texas day. The Langley Convention Center buzzed with anticipation for the annual Austin Innovate Tech Summit, a glittering showcase of startups and venture capitalists that turned the city into a hub of ambition. Olivia Warrick stood at the reception desk, her clipboard a lifeline as she coordinated last-minute details for the event. Her thrift store blouse was neatly pressed, but the worn edges betrayed her struggle to fit into the polished world around her. Her hazel eyes scanned the tablet, double-checking the schedule, but her mind was elsewhere, on the $50,000 Jacob Langley had promised for their marriage of convenience, and on Sophia Kessler, her 16-year-old sister, whose hospital bills loomed like a storm cloud. Olivia had met Jacob in his office the previous day, her heart pounding as she signed the contract. The agreement was simple. Play the role of his wife to appease his father, Victor Langley, and she'd get the money to save Sophia. "No one can know," Jacob had warned, his blue eyes intense. "Not your co-workers, not your family. We keep this professional." Olivia had nodded, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. "For Sophia," she'd said, sealing her fate. Now, as she navigated the chaos of the summit, the secret weighed on her, a silent burden she carried alongside Rachel Holt's relentless taunts. The convention center's main hall was a spectacle, sleek booths lined with LED screens, tech, moguls in tailored blazers, and the hum of drones demonstrating the latest gadgets. Olivia directed caterers, adjusted name tags, and guided attendees to their seats. Her rural twang softened to blend in. But Rachel Holt, in a form-fitting emerald dress, was never far. She leaned against a booth, her sharp cheekbones catching the light as she whispered to a cluster of colleagues. "Look at her scurrying around like a farmhand," Rachel said, loud enough for Olivia to hear. "Does she even know what Wi-Fi is?" The group snickered, and Olivia's cheeks burned. She gripped her clipboard tighter, forcing herself to focus. "Tablets are at the front, Rachel," she said, her voice calm. "You might want to check them before the keynote." Rachel's smile was venomous. "Oh, Willow Creek's giving orders now? Cute." She sauntered off, her heels clicking, leaving Olivia to swallow her anger. She wouldn't let Rachel break her, not when Sophia's life depended on her keeping this job. As the keynote approached, Olivia was tasked with setting up the main stage's presentation. The Tech Summit star was a startup pitching a revolutionary AI platform, and the stakes were high. A multi-million-dollar investment hung in the balance. Olivia double-checked the projector, her hands steady from years of fixing broken machinery back home. But as the founder took the stage, the screen flickered, then went black. Gasps rippled through the crowd, and Marissa, the head receptionist, shot Olivia a glare. "What did you do?" she hissed. "I checked everything," Olivia said, her voice low but firm. She darted to the tech booth, her heart racing. Rachel stood nearby, arms crossed, a smirk playing on her lips. "Told you she'd mess up," Rachel muttered to a colleague. Olivia ignored her, scanning the system. A cable was loose, deliberately unplugged, she realized, her eyes narrowing. She reconnected it, rebooted the software, and the presentation flickered back to life just as the founder stumbled through his opening lines. The audience applauded, oblivious to the near disaster, and Marissa gave Olivia a grudging nod. "Quick thinking," she said. "Don't let it happen again." Olivia's jaw tightened. She knew Rachel was behind it. She'd seen her lingering near the booth earlier. But she had no proof, and confronting her would only fuel the fire. Instead, she threw herself into the next task, arranging VIP seating, her hands trembling with suppressed rage. She was here for Sophia, not for petty battles. During a break, Olivia slipped into the break room, the scent of burnt coffee grounding. She poured a cup, her hands shaking slightly when Carlos, the lanky tech assistant, joined her. "You okay, Liv?" he asked, his brown eyes kind. "Rachel's got it out for you. Don't let her get under your skin." "Easier said than done," Olivia said, sipping the coffee. "She's everywhere, like a mosquito you can't swat." Carlos chuckled. "Yeah, she's got a knack for making people miserable. But you're tougher than you look. That projector save was pro." "Thanks," Olivia said, a small smile breaking through. "Just trying to keep my head above water." As she returned to the floor, Jacob Langley appeared, his charcoal suit impeccable, his presence cutting through the chaos. He was speaking with a group of investors, his voice calm but authoritative. His eyes caught Olivia's, and he excused himself, approaching her. "You handled that projector issue well," he said, his tone low. "Most people would have panicked." "Just doing my job, Mr. Langley," Olivia said. her voice steady despite the flutter in her chest. His attention unnerved her. Why was the CEO noticing her? "Call me Jacob," he said, his lips twitching. "You're not just a receptionist, are you? You've got a knack for fixing messes." Olivia hesitated, unsure if he was testing her. "I learned to make do back home," she said. "Things break, you fix them, simple." "Nothing simple about it," Jacob said, his gaze lingering. "Keep it up." He walked away, leaving Olivia with a mix of pride and unease. His interest felt like a spotlight, one she wasn't sure she wanted. The summit stretched into the evening, the hall glowing with string lights as a networking reception began. Live music, a local indie band playing soft folk, filled the air, a nod to Austin's vibrant music scene. Olivia circulated with a tray of hors d'oeuvres, her smile practiced but strained. Rachel, holding a glass of wine, cornered her near a booth. "You're really milking this small-town hero act, aren't you?" she said, her voice dripping with disdain. "Don't get too comfortable. You'll be back in the sticks soon enough." Olivia's grip tightened on the tray. "I'm here to work, Rachel. Maybe you should try it instead of gossiping." Rachel's eyes flashed. "Bold words for someone who doesn't belong. Watch your step, or I'll make sure everyone sees you for what you are, a nobody." Before Olivia could respond, a guest called for her and she turned away, her heart pounding. Rachel's words cut deep, echoing the doubts she'd carried since leaving Willow Creek. She wasn't a nobody. She was Sophia's lifeline. But Austin felt like a battlefield, and she was outgunned. That night, Olivia took the bus home, the city's neon lights blurring past. Her East Austin apartment was quiet, save for the hum of Sophia's oxygen tank. Sophia sat at the kitchen table, sketching a mural of wildflowers, her frail hand steady with the pencil. "Rough day?" she asked, her voice soft. Olivia sank onto a chair, rubbing her temples. "Just city stuff, Soph, nothing I can't handle." Sophia frowned, setting down her pencil. "You're lying. I can tell. Liv, you're killing yourself for me. I hate it." "Don't," Olivia said, her voice sharp. "You're getting that surgery. I've got a plan." She didn't mention the contract with Jacob. She couldn't. The secret felt like a stone in her chest, but the $50,000 was her only hope. Sophia reached for her hand. "You're my big sister, not my mom. You deserve a life too." Olivia's eyes stung, but she forced a smile. "I've got a life, Soph, right here with you." She tucked her sister into bed, then sat by the window, the hospital bill glaring. From her phone, Rachel's cruelty, the pressure of the job, the weight of the fake marriage, it was all closing in. But she'd fight through it. For Sophia, she'd face anything. The Austin skyline glowed under a dusky purple haze, the city's heartbeat pulsing through the neon-lit bars and food trucks along South Congress Avenue. Inside the Langley Convention Center, the air was electric with preparations for a high-profile music festival showcase, a prelude to Austin's iconic South by Southwest. Olivia Warrick moved through the chaos with her clipboard, her hazel eyes scanning vendor lists as she directed sound technicians and coordinated stage setups. Her thrift store blouse clung to her skin in the Texas heat, a stark contrast to the sleek outfits of her colleagues. The weight of her secret marriage contract with Jacob Langley pressed on her chest, but she pushed it aside. Sophia Kessler, her 16-year-old sister, needed her to stay focused. Every paycheck brought them closer to the surgery that could save her life. Olivia's days had become a gauntlet of Rachel Holt's relentless taunts. Rachel, with her designer scarves and venomous smile, seemed to lurk around every corner, ready to strike. During a morning setup, Olivia was arranging banners when Rachel swept by, her heels clicking on the polished floor. "Careful, Willow Creek," Rachel said, her voice dripping with mockery. "Those banners are worth more than your entire wardrobe. Don't rip them." Olivia's jaw tightened, but she kept her tone even. "They're secure, Rachel. Maybe check your own work for once." Rachel's eyes narrowed. "Keep talking, farm girl. You're on thin ice." She sauntered off, leaving Olivia to swallow her anger. She couldn't afford to lose this job, not with Sophia's hospital bills piling up. but Rachel's cruelty was a constant reminder of how out of place she felt in Austin's polished world. Mid-morning, Olivia was sent to the center's archive room to retrieve files for the festival's sponsors. The room was a maze of filing cabinets, the air thick with dust and the faint hum of fluorescent lights. As she searched for the documents, her fingers brushed against a folder labeled Langley Enterprises Confidential. Curiosity got the better of her, and she opened it, her breath catching. Inside were financial reports, emails, and a memo detailing a scheme by Victor Langley, Jacob's father, to inflate the company's profits by funneling money through offshore accounts. The memo hinted at a cover-up to secure a merger with Horizon Group, a rival firm. Olivia's heart raced. This was fraud, and it could ruin the company. She snapped the folder shut, her hands trembling. Should she tell Jacob? The contract bound her to silence, but this was bigger than their deal. If the truth came out, it could destroy the Langley empire and her chance to save Sophia. She slipped the folder back into place, but not before Rachel appeared in the doorway, her arms crossed. "Snooping, are we?" Rachel said, her voice sharp. "What's a receptionist doing in confidential files?" "I was getting sponsor docs," Olivia said, holding up the requested folder. "What's your excuse for being here?" Rachel smirked. "Just keeping an eye on you. Wouldn't want you stealing company secrets, would we?" Her words were a warning, and Olivia realized Rachel suspected something. She had to be careful. Rachel was looking for any excuse to take her down. That afternoon, the music festival showcase kicked into high gear. The main hall was transformed into a vibrant stage, with local bands warming up and the scent of barbecue wafting from food trucks outside. Olivia was tasked with managing VIP check-ins, her tablet buzzing with notifications. Jacob Langley appeared, his charcoal suit a stark contrast to the casual festival vibe. He was deep in conversation with a group of sponsors, but his eyes found Olivia's across the room. He excused himself and approached, his presence commanding attention. "You're handling this like a pro," Jacob said, his voice low over the hum of the crowd. "The vendors are singing your praises." Olivia flushed, caught off guard. "Just keeping things moving, Mr. Langley." "Jacob," she corrected, remembering his request. "It's a big night." "It is," Jacob said, his blue eyes studying her. "You're good under pressure. Ever think about doing more than reception?" Olivia hesitated, the folder's contents flashing in her mind. "I just want to do my job well," she said, her voice guarded. "That's enough for now." Jacob nodded, but his gaze lingered as if trying to read her. "If you ever need to talk, my door's open." He walked away, leaving Olivia with a mix of warmth and unease. His kindness was disarming, but the secret she'd uncovered made her question everything. As the festival began, Olivia threw herself into her tasks, coordinating lighting cues and ensuring the bands had what they needed. The crowd roared as a folk rock band took the stage, their guitars echoing through the hall. Olivia's efficiency caught the eye of Marissa, who pulled her aside. "You're impressing people, Olivia," Marissa said, her usual sharpness softened. "Keep this up and you might move up to event coordinator." "Thanks," Olivia said, a spark of pride cutting through her exhaustion. But her moment of triumph was short-lived. During a break, she overheard Rachel whispering to a colleague near the bar. "She's hiding something," Rachel said, her voice low but deliberate. "I saw her in the archives digging through files. Bet she's after more than a paycheck." Olivia's blood ran cold. Rachel was onto her, and the confidential folder was a ticking time bomb. She couldn't confront her. Not yet. But the threat hung over her like a storm cloud. That night, Olivia returned to her East Austin apartment, the city's lights flickering through the bus window. Sophia was awake, sketching at the kitchen table, her oxygen tube a constant reminder of their reality. "Big festival today?" Sophia asked, her voice weak but curious. "Yeah," Olivia said, forcing a smile as she set down a bag of tacos from a nearby truck. "Lots of music, lots of chaos." Sophia studied her sister, her dark eyes sharp despite her frailty. "You're Not telling me something, Liv. What's going on? Nothing you need to worry about, Olivia said, brushing a strand of hair from Sophia's face. Just work stuff. We're getting closer to your surgery, okay? Sophia's frown deepened. You're carrying too much, I can feel it. Olivia's throat tightened, but she shook her head. I've got it, Soph. Promise. She didn't mention the folder or the marriage contract. The secrets were piling up, and she felt like she was drowning. Later, as Sophia slept, Olivia sat by the window, the hospital bill glaring from her phone. $18,000 now, with interest mounting. The folder's contents haunted her. If she told Jacob, she risked everything. The money, the job, Sophia's future. But keeping quiet felt like betraying the one person who'd shown her kindness in this cutthroat city. She closed her eyes, the music from the festival echoing in her mind, a reminder of the life she was fighting for, and the secrets that could destroy it. The Austin night was alive with the hum of live music drifting from bars along Rainy Street. The city's eclectic pulse, a stark contrast to the turmoil in Olivia Warrick's heart. Inside her cramped East Austin apartment, the glow of a single lamp illuminated Sophia Kessler, her 16-year-old sister. Asleep on the couch, her oxygen tube a soft whisper in the quiet. Olivia sat at the kitchen table, her thrift store blouse crumpled from a long day at the Langley Convention Center, her hazel eyes fixed on her phone. A new hospital bill had arrived, $20,000, the numbers glaring like an accusation. The $50,000 from her secret marriage contract with Jacob Langley felt like a lifeline. But the secret she'd uncovered in the archives, Victor Langley's financial fraud, threatened to unravel everything. Olivia's fingers trembled as she set the phone down, Rachel Holt's venomous words echoing in her mind. Watch your step, or I'll make sure everyone sees you for what you are, a nobody. The next morning, the convention center was a whirlwind of activity as staff prepared for a major corporate conference, a showcase for Austin's booming tech scene. Olivia stood at the reception desk, her clipboard a shield against the chaos. Her flats pinched her feet, and her braid was slightly frayed, but she moved with purpose, checking in attendees and directing vendors. The weight of Rachel's threat loomed large. She knew Rachel had seen her in the archives, and her insinuations about stealing secrets were a ticking bomb. Olivia couldn't afford to slip up, not with Sophia's surgery on the line. Rachel Holt, in a tailored navy blazer, glided through the lobby, her sharp cheekbones catching the light as she laughed with a group of colleagues. She caught Olivia's eye and smirked, her voice carrying over the hum of the crowd. Careful with those name tags, Willow Creek, she called out. Wouldn't want you misspelling CEO in front of the big shots. The group chuckled, and Olivia's cheeks burned, but she kept her head down, focusing on her tablet. She wouldn't give Rachel the satisfaction of a reaction. Mid-morning, Olivia was assigned to set up a breakout session in a sleek conference room, its walls lined with digital screens. As she arranged chairs, Rachel appeared holding a coffee cup, her smile predatory. You're everywhere, aren't you? Rachel said, leaning against the doorframe. Always poking around where you don't belong, like the archives. Olivia's heart skipped, but she kept her voice steady. I was doing my job, Rachel. Maybe you should focus on yours instead of following me. Rachel's eyes glinted. Oh, I'm focused. And I'm watching you, farm girl. One wrong move and you're done. She turned on her heel, leaving Olivia with a knot in her stomach. Rachel wasn't just taunting her. She was building a case, and Olivia had no idea how far she'd go. The conference kicked off with a keynote, the hall packed with tech executives and investors. Olivia was tasked with managing the Q&A session, handing the microphone to attendees. Her efficiency earned a nod from Marissa, the head receptionist, but the pressure was relentless. During a break, Olivia slipped into the break room, hoping for a moment of quiet. Carlos, the tech assistant, was there, fiddling with a laptop. You look like you need a break, Liv, he said, his brown eyes kind. Rachel's been on your case, huh? Like a hawk, Olivia said, pouring a cup of coffee. She's got it out for me, and I don't know why. She's threatened, Carlos said, shrugging. You're good at this, and she hates anyone stealing her spotlight. Just keep your head down." "Trying," Olivia said, her voice tight. But keeping her head down felt impossible with Rachel's eyes everywhere, and the secret of Victor's fraud burning in her mind. That afternoon, the conflict escalated. Olivia was coordinating a networking reception when Rachel struck. As Olivia handed out programs, a video began playing on the hall's digital screens. Grainy footage of her in the archives, edited to make it look like she was sneaking around. The audio was manipulated, her voice distorted to say, "I'll find something to sell." Gasps rippled through the crowd and Olivia froze, her heart pounding. Rachel stood nearby, her smile triumphant, whispering to a colleague, "Told you she's trouble." Attendees stared, their murmurs growing louder. A middle-aged man in a blazer approached, his voice sharp. "Is this true? Are you stealing from the company?" "No," Olivia said, her voice shaking. "That's not me. It's edited. I was getting files for work." Marissa stormed over, her face livid. "Explain this, Olivia, now." "I didn't do anything," Olivia said, her eyes stinging. "Someone's setting me up." Rachel stepped forward, her voice dripping with false concern. "I saw her in the archives, Marissa. She was acting suspicious. I just thought you should know." Olivia's hands clenched. "You did this," she said, her voice low but fierce. "You're lying." "Enough," Marissa snapped. "Olivia." "My office, end of shift. We'll sort this out." She walked away, leaving Olivia to face the crowd's judgmental stares. Rachel's smirk was unbearable, but Olivia held her ground, passing the microphone to the next speaker, her hands trembling. As the reception continued, Olivia felt like she was drowning. The video had spread online, tagged with hashtags like Langley scandal and cheat or thief at work. Her phone buzzed with notifications, each one a knife to her pride. She wanted to run, to hide, but Sophia's face kept her anchored. She couldn't lose this job, not now. Jacob Langley arrived late, his charcoal suit impeccable, his presence cutting through the chaos. He'd been in meetings all day, unaware of the video. As he entered the hall, he noticed the tension, the whispers following Olivia. He approached her at the reception desk, his blue eyes narrowing. "What's going on?" he asked, his voice low. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Olivia hesitated, the contract binding her to silence about personal matters. "Just a rough day," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It'll pass." Jacob studied her, unconvinced. "I heard about a video. Tell me the truth." Olivia's throat tightened. "It's a lie," she said, her eyes meeting his. "Someone edited footage to make me look like a thief. I didn't do it." Jacob's jaw clenched. "Who?" Olivia glanced at Rachel, laughing with a group across the room. "Doesn't matter," she said. "I'll handle it." Jacob followed her gaze, his expression darkening. "No one messes with my staff," he said. "I'll take care of it." Olivia's heart raced. "Don't," she said quickly. "It'll make things worse, please." Jacob hesitated, then nodded. "Fine, but if it gets out of hand, I'm stepping in." He walked away, leaving Olivia with a mix of relief and fear. His protectiveness was unexpected, but it complicated everything. She couldn't afford to rely on him, not with the secret of Victor's fraud still burning in her mind. That night, Olivia returned home. The bus ride a blur of neon and shame. Sophia was awake, her sketchbook open, her oxygen tank humming. "Liv, what's wrong?" she asked, her voice sharp with worry. "You look awful." Olivia sank onto the couch, her eyes stinging. "Work stuff, Soph. Someone spread a video, made it look like I'm stealing. It's everywhere." Sophia's eyes widened. "That's awful. Who would do that?" Olivia shook her head, unable to say Rachel's name. "Doesn't matter. I'll fix it." Sophia reached for her hand, her grip weak but fierce. "You don't have to fix everything alone, Liv. I hate seeing you like this." Olivia forced a smile, brushing a tear from her cheek. "I'm okay, Soph, we're okay." But as she tucked her sister into bed, the video played in her mind, a reminder of how fragile her place in Austin was. Rachel's vendetta was escalating, and the secret of Victor's fraud felt like a noose tightening around her neck. She had to fight back, but how? The Austin skyline shimmered under a heavy gray sky, the threat of rain hanging over the city like a held breath. The Langley Convention Center, usually a beacon of polished glass and ambition, felt oppressive to Olivia Warrick as she navigated another grueling day. Her thrift store blouse was damp with sweat, her braid unraveling, but her hazel eyes burned with determination. The fallout from Rachel Holt's viral video, falsely painting Olivia as a thief, still lingered, with whispers and sidelong glances from colleagues cutting deeper than she'd admit. The $50,000 from her secret marriage contract with Jacob Langley was her lifeline to save her sister, Sophia Kessler, but the weight of Victor Langley's financial fraud, uncovered in the archives, pressed on her like a stone. Olivia moved through the lobby, her clipboard a shield, directing vendors for an upcoming charity gala. But her heart was with Sophia, whose health was slipping faster than she could bear. The morning was chaotic, with preparations for the gala in full swing. The main hall was being transformed. Crystal chandeliers sparkled, tables were draped in white linen, and a stage was set for a silent auction to benefit local hospitals. Olivia coordinated florists and caterers, her efficiency masking the turmoil. Within, Rachel Holt, in a crimson dress that screamed confidence, hovered nearby, her sharp cheekbones catching the light as she laughed with a group of staff. "Careful with those vases, Willow Creek," Rachel called out, her voice dripping with mockery. "They're worth more than your rent." Olivia's hands tightened on her clipboard, but she kept her voice steady. "They're secure, Rachel. Maybe focus on your own tasks." Rachel's smirk widened. "Oh, I'm focused, just making sure you don't borrow anything else." The jab, a reference to the video, drew snickers from her group, and Olivia's cheeks burned. She turned away, refusing to let Rachel see her falter. Sophia needed her to stay strong, no matter how deep the cuts. Midday, Olivia's phone buzzed, with a call from Austin General Hospital. Her heart stopped as she stepped into a quiet corner to answer. "Ms. Warrick, this is Dr. Patel," the voice said, calm but urgent. "Sophia's condition has worsened. Her immune system is failing, and she needs emergency surgery. We're looking at $75,000, and we need to act fast." Olivia's knees buckled and she leaned against the wall, her breath shallow. "How long does she have?" she whispered. "Days, maybe a week," Dr. Patel said. "We're stabilizing her, but the surgery can't wait. I'll get the money," Olivia said, her voice breaking. She hung up, tears stinging her eyes. The $50,000 from Jacob wasn't enough. Not anymore. She needed more, but asking for it felt like selling her soul. The secret of Victor's fraud flashed in her mind. Could she use it as leverage? The thought made her sick, but Sophia's life was on the line. Back at the reception desk, Olivia threw herself into work, her hands trembling as she checked in gala guests. Jacob Langley appeared, his charcoal suit impeccable, his blue eyes scanning the room. He'd been in back-to-back meetings, unaware of Sophia's crisis, but he noticed Olivia's pale face and tense posture. He approached, his voice low over the hum of the crowd. "You okay, Olivia?" he asked, his tone softer than usual. "You look like you're carrying the world." Olivia forced a smile, the contract secrecy binding her. "Just a long day, Jacob." "I'm fine." He studied her, unconvinced. "You're a terrible liar," he said, his lips twitching. "If something's wrong, tell me. We're partners, right?" The word, a nod to their fake marriage, hung between them, heavy with unspoken meaning. Olivia's throat tightened. "It's personal," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'll handle it." Jacob hesitated, then nodded. "Offer stands." He walked away, but his concern lingered, a warmth Olivia couldn't afford to lean into. Not with Rachel, watching and Victor's secret threatening everything. That evening, Olivia rushed to the hospital, the bus ride a blur of neon and fear. Sophia lay in a sterile room, her frail body dwarfed by monitors and tubes. Her dark hair was tucked into a beanie, her eyes bright despite the pain. "Liv," she whispered, managing a weak smile. You didn't have to come straight from work, like I'd be anywhere else, Olivia said, pulling a chair close. She took Sophia's hand, her heart breaking at how cold it felt. What happened, Soph? Just a bad day, Sophia said, her voice fragile. I'll bounce back, always do. Olivia's eyes stung. You're getting that surgery. I'm working on it, okay? Sophia frowned, studying her sister. You're doing too much, Liv? I see it in your face. What's going on? Nothing you need to worry about, Olivia said, forcing a smile. But the lie felt hollow. She couldn't tell Sophia about the contract or the fraud. Not now. Meanwhile, Jacob sat in his penthouse overlooking Lady Bird Lake, a whiskey glass in hand, the city's lights glittering below. His phone buzzed with a text from Victor. Horizon. Merger meeting tomorrow. Don't screw it up. Jacob's jaw clenched. The merger depended on the false financials Olivia had uncovered, a fact he'd pieced together from overheard boardroom whispers. He'd been avoiding the truth, but Olivia's haunted expression today forced him to face it. He needed to know what she knew. The next day, Olivia returned to the center, her eyes red from a sleepless night. The gala was hours away, and she was tasked with managing the silent auction. As she arranged bidding sheets, her phone buzzed. AEI. Hospital update. Sophia was stable, but time was running out. Desperate, Olivia slipped into Jacob's office during a break, her heart pounding. He was at his desk, papers strewn around, his tie loosened. Olivia, he said, surprised. What's wrong? She took a deep breath, her voice shaking. I need more money. My sister. She needs surgery, and it's $75,000. I know our deal was $50,000, but I'm begging you. Jacob's face softened, a rare vulnerability breaking through his polished facade. How bad is it? He asked. Days, Olivia said, tears spilling over. She's all I have. Jacob stood, crossing the room to her. I'll cover it, he said, his voice firm. All of it, no strings, no debt, just let me help. Olivia's breath caught. Why would you do that? Because you don't deserve to carry this alone, he said, his eyes locked on hers. And because I know what it's like to fight for family. Olivia nodded, overwhelmed. Thank you, she whispered, turning to leave. But Jacob stopped her. One condition, he said. Come with me to the hospital. I want to meet her. Against her better judgment, Olivia agreed. That afternoon, they drove to Austin General in Jacob's sleek black SUV, the city's skyline fading behind them. Sophia was awake, sketching. Wildflowers, her oxygen tube humming. Who's this? She asked, eyeing Jacob warily. Jacob Langley, he said, offering a warm smile. Your sister's boss. Heard you're a fighter. Sophia grinned, her spirit shining through. Takes one to know one. Liv's the real fighter, though. Jacob glanced at Olivia, his expression unreadable. I'm starting to see that. Back. At the center, Jacob's resolve hardened. He stormed into Victor's office, the older man's silver hair gleaming under the light. We need to talk, Jacob said, slamming the door. About the financials. I know you're cooking the books for the Horizon merger. Victor's face darkened. Careful, son. You don't know what you're talking about. I know enough, Jacob said, his voice cold. And I'm done being your puppet. This stops now. Victor leaned back, his smile icy. You think you can take me on? You'll lose everything. Then so be it, Jacob said, walking out. For the first time, he felt free, but the battle was just beginning. The Austin evening was ablaze with color, the sky streaked with orange and purple, as the city prepared for the Langley Convention Center's annual charity gala. The center's main hall was a vision of opulence. Crystal chandeliers cast a warm glow, white orchids adorned every table, and a string quartet played softly, their notes weaving through the hum of conversation. Olivia Warrick stood at the edge of the room, her thrift store blouse replaced with a simple black dress borrowed from a co-worker, her hazel eyes scanning the crowd. Her hands trembled slightly, clutching a tablet with the silent auction details. But her mind was elsewhere, on Sophia Kessler, her 16-year-old sister, stabilized but still awaiting surgery. and on the $75,000 Jacob Langley had promised to cover. The secret of Victor Langley's financial fraud burned in her chest, and Rachel Holt's relentless campaign to destroy her reputation felt like a noose tightening with every passing day. The gala was a high-stakes affair, drawing Austin's elite, tech moguls, philanthropists, and city officials mingling over champagne and canapes. Olivia's role was to manage the auction, ensuring bids were recorded and items displayed flawlessly. Her efficiency had earned her a grudging respect from Marissa, the head receptionist. But the viral video Rachel had orchestrated, falsely accusing Olivia of stealing, still cast a shadow. Whispers followed her, and colleagues avoided her gaze, unsure if she was the thief Rachel painted her to be. Olivia squared her shoulders. Her rural twang softened as she greeted guests, but the weight of their judgment was crushing. Rachel Holt, in a shimmering gold gown, glided through the crowd, her sharp cheekbones catching the light as she charmed a group of investors. Her eyes locked on Olivia, and a smirk played on her lips. Rachel had been seething since Jacob's intervention to remove the video online, his influence silencing the worst of the scandal. But Rachel wasn't done. She'd spent days crafting a new plan, one that would bury Olivia for good. She'd found a forged email, doctored to look like Olivia had leaked Victor's financial secrets to a rival firm, and she planned to unveil it tonight in front of Austin's most powerful. Mid-evening, Olivia was adjusting a display of auction items, a signed guitar from a local band, a luxury vacation package, when Rachel approached, her voice low and venomous. "Enjoying your moment in the spotlight, Willow Creek?" she said, her smile ablaze. "It won't last, you're about to crash and burn." Olivia's heart raced, but she held Rachel's gaze. "Whatever you're planning, Rachel, it won't work. I'm not going anywhere." Rachel laughed, a sharp sound that turned heads. "Bold words for a nobody. You'll be begging to crawl back to your farm by the end of the night." She walked away, leaving Olivia with a sinking feeling. Rachel's confidence was unnerving. She had something up her sleeve, and Olivia was out of moves. As the auction began, Olivia stood at the podium, reading bid updates, her voice steady despite the knot in her stomach. The crowd applauded as a rare painting fetched $50,000, and Olivia allowed herself a moment of pride. She'd organized this flawlessly. But the moment shattered when Rachel took the stage, uninvited, holding a tablet. "Ladies and gentlemen," Rachel said, her voice amplified. "Before we continue, there's something you need to know about one of our staff." The room fell silent, and Olivia's blood ran cold. Jacob Langley, in a tailored black tuxedo, stood near the back, his blue eyes narrowing as he sensed trouble. Rachel's smile was triumphant as she tapped her tablet, projecting an email onto the screen. "This is from Olivia Warrick," she said. "Sent to Horizon Group, exposing confidential Langley financials. She's been betraying us all." Gasps rippled through the crowd and Olivia's knees buckled. "That's a lie," she shouted, stepping forward. "I never sent that." Rachel's voice was icy. "The evidence speaks for itself. You were caught in the archives, snooping. Now we know why," the crowd murmured, their eyes turning to Olivia like daggers. Marissa stormed toward the stage, her face livid. "Olivia, explain this now." "I didn't do it," Olivia said, her voice breaking. "She's framing me. That email's fake," Rachel smirked. "Deny it all you want. You're finished." Before Olivia could respond, Jacob pushed through the crowd, his presence commanding silence. "Enough," he said, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. He climbed the stage, taking the tablet from Rachel's hands. "This stops. Now." Rachel's smile faltered. "Mr. Langley, the evidence is fabricated," Jacob said, his eyes blazing. He turned to the crowd, his voice steady but fierce. "Olivia Warrick didn't send this email. I did." The room erupted in whispers and Olivia's breath caught. What was he doing? Jacob continued, undeterred. "I've been investigating my father, Victor Langley, for financial misconduct. Olivia found evidence in the archives and brought it to me. She's no traitor. She's the reason we're uncovering the truth." Victor, seated at a front table, stood, his silver hair gleaming, his face a mask of fury. "You're out of line, Jacob," he growled. "This is nonsense." "No, Dad," Jacob said, his voice cold. "It's fact. You've been cooking the books to secure the Horizon merger. I have the documents to prove it." He nodded to a staff member who projected the real files from the archives. Memos, emails, bank records detailing Victor's fraud. The crowd gasped, and Victor's face paled. "You'll regret this," he muttered, storming out, his exit a thunderclap in the stunned silence. Rachel stood frozen, her plan crumbling. Olivia stared at Jacob, her heart pounding. He'd just risked everything, for her. Jacob turned to the crowd, his voice softening. "Olivia Warrick is one of the most honest, hard-working people I know. She's been unfairly targeted, and I won't stand for it. Effective immediately, she's promoted to event coordinator. She's earned it." Applause broke out, hesitant at first, then swelling. Olivia's eyes stung, a mix of shock and gratitude overwhelming her. Marissa nodded, a rare smile breaking through. "Well done, Olivia," she said, clapping her shoulder. Rachel slunk off the stage, her face ashen, her reign of terror shattered. As the gala resumed, Jacob pulled Olivia aside, his eyes searching hers. "You didn't deserve that," he said, his voice low. "I'm sorry I didn't stop it sooner." "Why did you do it?" Olivia asked, her voice trembling. "You could have lost everything." Jacob hesitated, a vulnerability breaking through his polished facade. "Because you're worth it," he said. "And because I'm tired of living under lies." He paused, then added, "I meant what I said about the promotion. You're good at this, Olivia. Better than most." Olivia's throat tightened. "Thank you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. But doubt lingered. She was still bound by their contract, and his words felt too close, too real. "I need to get back to work," she said, turning away, her heart racing. That night, Olivia returned to her East Austin apartment, the city's lights a blur through the bus window. Sophia was asleep, her sketchbook open to a drawing of Austin's skyline, a testament to her hope. Olivia sat beside her, the hospital bill, now covered by Jacob's promise, still heavy in her mind. The gala's triumph felt fleeting with Rachel's defeat, but Victor's exit and Jacob's confession changed everything. She was no longer a nobody, but the fake marriage and her growing feelings for Jacob were a new battlefield, one she wasn't sure she could navigate. The Austin night was alive with the pulse of the city, its skyline glittering against a velvet sky as music spilled from bars along 6th Street. Inside the Langley Convention Center, the air was thick with anticipation for a special event. A surprise awards ceremony to honor the staff's contributions to the recent charity gala. Olivia Warrick stood backstage, her black dress, newly purchased with her first paycheck as event coordinator, hugging her frame, her hazel eyes bright with a mix of nerves and pride. Her promotion, earned after Jacob Langley's public defense against Rachel Holt's lies, felt like a dream, but the weight of her journey lingered. Sophia Kessler, her 16-year-old sister, was recovering from emergency surgery funded by Jacob's $75,000, and the secret of their fake marriage contract still bound them. Tonight, Olivia faced a new challenge, deciding whether to trust Jacob with her heart or walk away from a man whose world felt so far from hers. The center's main hall was transformed into a celebration. Golden lights draped from the ceiling, tables set with wildflower centerpieces, and a stage framed by a massive screen displaying highlights from the gala. Staff mingled with guests, their laughter mingling with the soft strum of a local acoustic band, a nod to Austin's music soul. Olivia's clipboard was gone, replaced by a tablet as she oversaw the event, her efficiency now a source of respect, rather than ridicule. Marissa, the head receptionist, clapped her shoulder as she passed. "You've outdone yourself, Olivia," she said, her usual sharpness replaced with warmth. "This is your night." Olivia smiled, but her thoughts were on Sophia, resting at home, and Jacob, who'd been distant since exposing his father Victor Langley's financial fraud. Victor's resignation had shaken the Langley enterprises, and Jacob was navigating a storm of boardroom battles to save the company. Olivia's discovery of the fraud had sparked it all, and though Jacob had thanked her, his intensity left her unsure. Did he see her as a partner, or just a means to an end? As the ceremony began, Olivia took her place near the stage, her heart racing. Carlos, the tech assistant, leaned over, grinning. "Big night, Liv," he said. "You're practically running this place now." "Hardly," Olivia said, her rural twang softened but present. "Just trying not to trip over my own feet," Carlos chuckled. "You're killing it. Rachel's probably fuming somewhere." Rachel Holt, humiliated after her failed attempt to frame Olivia, had been demoted to clerical work, her influence shattered. But Olivia knew Rachel wouldn't stay quiet forever. Jacob Langley took the stage, his tailored black suit accentuating his commanding presence, his blue eyes scanning the crowd. The room fell silent, his voice resonating with authority. "Tonight, we celebrate our team," he said, "and one person in particular who's shown what it means to lead with integrity." His gaze found Olivia, and her breath caught. But first, a surprise. The screen lit up with a video montage, clips of Olivia coordinating events, fixing crises, and smiling with guests, set to a heartfelt acoustic track. The crowd applauded, and Olivia's cheeks flushed, her eyes stinging. Jacob continued, his voice softening. "Olivia Warrick came to us with nothing but grit and heart. She's faced challenges most would crumble under, and she's made this center better for it. Tonight, I'm proud to present her with the Langley Leadership Award." The room erupted in cheers, and Olivia froze, overwhelmed. Marissa nudged her forward, and she climbed the stage, her legs trembling. Jacob handed her a crystal trophy, his hand brushing hers, a spark passing between them. "You earned this," he said, his voice low, meant for her alone. "Thank you," Olivia whispered, her voice cracking. She turned to the crowd, her eyes shining. "This isn't just for me. It's for my sister, Sophia, who taught me to keep fighting, and for all of you who gave me a chance." The applause swelled, and Olivia stepped back, her heart full but conflicted. Jacob's gesture was grand, but the contract loomed. Could she trust his feelings, or was this part of the act? As the ceremony continued, a commotion erupted at the entrance. Victor Langley stormed in, his silver hair disheveled, his face twisted with rage. The crowd hushed, sensing a scandal. "This is a sham," Victor shouted, pointing at Jacob. "You're ruining my legacy with your lies." Jacob's jaw clenched, but he stepped forward, his voice calm but steel. "Your legacy's built on fraud, Dad. It's over." Victor's eyes locked on Olivia, venom in his gaze. "And you," he snarled. "You're behind this, digging through my files. You're nothing but a gold digger." The crowd gasped, and Olivia's heart pounded. But before she could speak, a frail voice cut through the tension. "Leave her alone." Sophia, supported by a nurse, stood at the entrance, her beanie crooked, her oxygen tube in place. The room fell silent as she stepped forward, her voice weak but fierce. "My sister's the strongest person I know. She's fought for me, for this place, and she's worth 10 of you. If you've got a problem, take it up with me." Olivia rushed to Sophia's side, tears streaming down her face. "Soph, you shouldn't be here," she said, her voice breaking. "Had to," Sophia said, managing a grin. "Couldn't let you face this jerk alone." The crowd erupted in applause, moved by Sophia's courage. Victor, humiliated, turned to leave, but Jacob stopped him. "You're done, Dad," he said, his voice cold. "The board's voting you out tomorrow." Security escorted Victor out, his curses fading into the night. Jacob turned to Olivia, his eyes soft. "I meant every word tonight," he said, "but there's more. I'm done with secrets." He faced the crowd, his voice steady. "Olivia isn't just my employee. She's my wife. Not for show, not for a contract, but because I love her." The room gasped, and Olivia's heart stopped. "Jacob," she whispered, her voice trembling. "What are you doing?" "Making it real," he said, taking her hand. "If you'll have me." Olivia's eyes searched his, the weight of their journey. Humiliations, secrets, sacrifices crashing over her. She thought of Sophia, of Willow Creek, of the girl who'd come to Austin with nothing but hope. "You've got to prove it," she said, her voice soft but firm. "Every day." "Deal," Jacob said, his smile breaking through, and the crowd cheered, their applause a wave of acceptance. A week later, Olivia and Sophia sat on a blanket at Zilker Park, the South by Southwest. Festival in full swing. Food trucks lined the field and a folk band played on a distant stage, the city's heartbeat wrapping around them. Sophia, stronger now, sketched the crowd, her oxygen tube gone. "You're happy, Liv," she said, her eyes bright. "I can tell." Olivia glanced at Jacob, who was helping a vendor nearby. His sleeves rolled up, his laughter genuine. "Getting there," she said, her heart full. She'd taken a leadership role at the center, her talent shaping Austin's events, while Jacob rebuilt the company, free from Victor's shadow. Their marriage, once a contract, was now a promise. A new beginning in a city that had tested them and made them whole. What a wild ride, right? If Olivia's epic journey left you speechless, we need to hear from you. Which scene had you on the edge of your seat? Was it Olivia's fierce stand, the CEO's heart-stopping rescue, or that twist you never saw coming? Spill the tea in the comments. Pick one emoji to sum up this story. Drop a score from 0-10 to rate this drama-packed tale, and tell us what's next on your wish list. More heart-wrenching romance, intense rivalries, or a totally fresh vibe? Join our storytelling squad. Smash that subscribe button, tap the bell to catch every new drop, and share this with a friend who lives for epic comebacks. Let's make the comments explode with your thoughts. Don't hold back.